Hey guys, this is Will at Third and Long. It's that time of year again. The football season will be kicking off tonight, Thursday, with the Lions and the Chiefs. So what we're going to be doing today is just going through our week one breakdown of every single game, looking at who will win, who will lose, and what our projected scores are. Hit that like button and subscribe, and let's go ahead and get started. Kicking off the NFL football season and kicking off week one, we have our Thursday night football game at 8:20 on NBC. It's the Detroit Lions at the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs come in as 6.5 favorites. Now, last year was a really great year for the Lions. They kind of got things back on track. Goff looked great. The defense, however, was pretty questionable last year. Now, the Chiefs obviously had the best year last year. They actually won the Super Bowl. But they're kind of coming into week one limping. So Travis Kelce's out. So far, it's just for week one, but they don't know if it could be longer. Chris Jones, as of right now, is still holding out, and he will be sitting this game. So other players are going to have to step up. So the main target for Patrick Mahomes is not playing tonight. So that could potentially hurt them because we haven't seen Mahomes without Kelce in a really long time. But are the Lions going to smell blood? So the defending champs are coming limping into week one. Are the Lions going to pounce on them? This is basically their chance to steal this game from the Chiefs since they're not at full level. However, at the end of the day, Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid are still there. So I think they find a way to pull the game out and to win the game in the fourth quarter. So I'm picking the Chiefs to win week one, 30-24 versus the Lions. The next game we have is the Sunday 1 p.m. game on Fox, the Carolina Panthers at the Atlanta Falcons. So this is a pretty big game because we're breaking in a lot of rookie quarterbacks this year. So the number one draft pick, Bryce Young, is going to be starting for the Panthers. And he's starting on the road, and we haven't really gotten to see him play in a real game besides preseason. So there's going to be a lot of hype here, and there's going to be a lot of pressure versus him. Now, the Panthers O-line, it's not very good. So that's definitely going to be a huge factor in this game because he's going to be under pressure the whole game, getting hit and then having to force throws for all four quarters. Now, the Falcons can score. So that team is loaded on offense. Desmond Ridder, he's an okay quarterback. He's nothing special. He's not bad. He's just kind of serviceable, but he has so many weapons. They have first-round pick Bijan Robinson out of Texas at running back. They have wide receiver Drake London. They have wide receiver Matt Collins. They have tight end Kyle Pitts out of Florida. So this team is loaded. So I think they'll definitely find a way to win the game. I think the Falcons win week one, 27-21 versus the Panthers. The next game we have coming up is our 1 p.m. game on CBS, and that is the Cincinnati Bengals at the Cleveland Browns. Now, supposedly, Joe Burrow, he's still kind of hurt, but he is set to play, but we know that he's not going to be 100%. So if he's forced to throw, if he's forced to scramble, if he's feeling a lot of pressure, how much will he really be able to roll out of the pocket? We really don't know yet, but if it's not 100%, that can definitely be a big change to this game. Deshaun Watson is back. He was really rusty last year, but he basically hadn't played in 2 full seasons. So that should have been worn off by now. He should have gotten used to the players that he's playing with on the Browns. Cleveland is actually a very stacked team. So if we get Watson playing the way that Watson plays when he was on the Texans, they're going to be a very dangerous team. So I definitely say that the Bengals are on upset alert here. Now, we hear the same story every year that this is the Browns' year, team is loaded, and then they just completely fall apart and they go 500. I don't think that's the case this year. So I think because Burrow's banged up, because Watson's back with all of the weapons, things are lining up to where the Browns are going to pull this game out. I am picking the Browns to win at home 28-26 versus the Bengals. Next game we have coming up is the 1 p.m. game on Fox, and that's the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Indianapolis Colts. Here we have another rookie quarterback starting out. We have Anthony Richardson coming out from Florida to start for the Colts. Now, the Jags had a really hot year last year. They almost went to the Super Bowl. Trevor Lawrence has a lot of weapons. They have a pretty decent defense. He's going to be able to throw the ball. Probably going to get 300 yards game one. The Colts, you have Anthony Richardson. While there's a lot of hype coming up for him, they have no Jonathan Taylor. That is a massive loss. He is a game changer for the Colts. So that's going to leave a lot of pressure on Anthony Richardson. I do not think he will be able to carry that pressure. This game versus the Jaguars because he will not be able to go blow for blow versus the Jaguars without Jonathan Taylor. So I think Trevor Lawrence is just basically going to light it up. And I think the Jaguars win pretty handedly, 34-17 versus the Colts. Our next game, 1 p.m. on CBS, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Minnesota Vikings. So Minnesota is rolling out Baker Mayfield, who seems like he's on his 20th team now. But we all like to laugh at Baker, but do not underestimate Baker Mayfield. So his talent comes out in very strong spurts, and then it disappears for games. But if you catch him on one of those spurts, he will light the game up. So which Baker Mayfield basically is going to show up on Sunday? That's the big question. But the Vikings, now, they cut Dalvin Cook this offseason. He's now with the Jets. That's a massive loss at running back. Brian Flores is now the defensive coordinator for the Vikings, so that should definitely help out. He's a very good coordinator. The Vikings, though, are still a Kirk Cousin-based offense. Tampa Bay, they have no Tom Brady. Mike Evans is banged up, supposedly. Mike Evans seems like he's like 55 at this point. Seems like he's been playing in the league forever, but he is currently banged up, but he's supposed to play, supposedly. But they still have Chris Godwin, so there's still weapons on Tampa Bay, but don't expect too much from Tampa Bay. I think the Vikings pull this one out, 24-20. Could I see that score flipped? Yes, that is very possible. But I do think that the Vikings will win as the more mature and balanced team. 24-20 Vikings. The next game we have at 1 p.m. CBS is the Tennessee Titans at the New Orleans Saints. So it seems like the Titans are basically very fastly fading into irrelevancy. Basically, they wasted the best years of Derrick Henry's career. He's got to be close to 30. It seems like he's been playing for a really long time since he came out of Alabama. But he's not going to be getting any better as he gets older with the amount of carries that his body's had. And the Titans just basically wasted him. They never got to the Super Bowl, and they never competed on a high enough level with him. So things are only going to be going down from here. However, the Titans are always a tough team. They always have a good defense, and they drain the clock because of their use of the ground game. So they run the ball a lot, so that's going to keep the ball out of the Saints' hands. Now, the Saints, every single year, they get hyped up into being a Super Bowl contender. It's the same thing this season, but the thing that changed this year is Derek Carr is now the quarterback at New Orleans. I think that's a pretty big deal. So he's a very good quarterback. He's very underappreciated. So I think that they'll still be a really good team. But like I said, I think they're going to beat the Titans. The Titans just have no way to keep the game close. They don't have the weapons, and Derrick Henry can't run, throw, and catch. That's just not possible. So I think the Saints pull it out. They win 27-20 versus the Tennessee Titans. The next game we have coming up at 1 p.m. on Fox, we have the San Francisco 49ers at the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is a pretty interesting game because these teams are kind of similar. They have decent quarterbacks and they have very stout defenses. Now, what I will say is Brock Purdy is getting to start the year at quarterback. So he's not coming in halfway through the season. No one has tape on him. Now we all know who Brock Purdy is. So how will he respond? Will he still continue to play on the same level that he played the second half of last season? That's a big question mark, and we just don't know because we haven't seen it yet. However, the 49ers, they probably have the most loaded team in the NFL. So they have the best team on offense, best team on defense. The main question mark is and always has basically been quarterback. So we'll see how that pans out there. Now, the Steelers had a pretty decent year last year. I think they finished 9-8. Kenny Pickett is back at quarterback. He has weapons in the wide receiver core and at running back. So pretty good team, great defense. Mike Tomlin always has a great defense. I think this game could go either way. This is a 50-50 team. They're both very similar teams. Both question marks are the quarterbacks on both teams. But I think the 49ers win it. 49ers win 20-17. But I can easily also see that game score flipping because these are basically the same team. The next game we have at 1 p.m. on Fox, and that is Sunday. We have the Arizona Cardinals at the Washington Commanders. So the Cardinals are a complete disaster. They are a joke of a franchise. Basically, you have Josh Dobbs, you have Kyler Murray. It's a complete joke. They're just in the Caleb Williams sweepstakes, basically. So they're just trying to tank the whole season, trying to get that number 1 overall pick so that they can draft Caleb Williams and get rid of Kyler Murray somehow. So that's what they're trying to do. So don't expect anything from the Cardinals because they're literally trying to throw every single game this season. Now, the Washington Commanders are a very serviceable team. You have Sam Howell, who is going to be starting at quarterback there. They're a decent team. I'd say they're probably about a 8-9, 9-8 team, so they're roughly around 500, but they're a good team, and the Cardinals are the worst team, so obviously we know how this game should go. So I have Washington winning 30-13, and me giving the Cardinals 13 is a pretty big leap there, but it's going to be a butt whooping. The next game we have coming on Sunday, 1 p.m. on CBS, we have the Houston Texans at the Baltimore Ravens. This is another rookie quarterback starting, so we have C.J. Stroud out of Ohio State getting the nod to start on the road here. The gauntlet of going to Baltimore to play the Ravens. This is really tough for Stroud. I think he's going to have a really rough game here. Now, Todd Monken is now the offensive coordinator for the Ravens. He was the offensive coordinator at the Georgia Bulldogs. So how's that going to change things for Lamar Jackson? His team is loaded. He has weapons at every single position. I think the game is going to feature him trying to throw the ball a little more than before. So he will still run. He will still scramble, but I think Monken is going to try to get him to pass more to take advantage of the weapons that they have on offense, but also to try to keep him healthy so that he plays the full season. So I think Lamar Jackson is going to go off. I think Stroud will struggle. Texans next to the Cardinals are probably the worst team. So Ravens will win 34-13. Now the next game we have coming up at 4:25 p.m. on Sunday on the Fox network, we have the Green Bay Packers traveling to the Chicago Bears. Packers had a lot of changes this offseason. They obviously got rid of Aaron Rodgers. They're now bringing out Jordan Love as the quarterback. Do not try to sell me that he is the next Aaron Rodgers. I've been hearing all of the hype saying he's just as good. I don't buy it. I do not believe it at all. I saw him when he played in college. I'm just not buying it. He might be decent, but the Packers will not be, to me, better than they were last year. Now, the Bears, they have Justin Fields there at quarterback. He was running the ball all over the place last year. He was breaking all kind of rushing records for a quarterback. That's great. That was fun to watch, but that is not sustainable. He has to step up in the passer game. He has to be a better passer. Someone has to step up catching the ball. So you can't rely on him for everything. That's just not sustainable, and he will definitely get hurt. So what do I think is going to happen? Packers have a great defense, so I don't think he's going to run all over them. Bears have a pretty decent defense, but I think that the Bears are just the better team. Bears never beat the Packers, but Aaron Rodgers is gone, so the curse is now lifted. I think the Bears will win this game. I'm going to say Chicago wins 27-23. The next game we have at 4:25 on CBS Sunday, we have the Las Vegas Raiders at the Denver Broncos. So Sean Payton makes his debut as the head coach for the Denver Broncos. That's a pretty big deal there. His first thing he has to fix is obviously Russell Wilson. Supposedly he lost a lot of weight this offseason. Supposedly he's a whole new man. That's what they say. But this will definitely be the first time for us to get to see who the new Russell Wilson is. Because out of the gate last year, he stunk. So we'll kind of see what he looks like this year. Now, the Raiders, Josh McDaniels is bringing in his buddy Jimmy G. So we'll kind of see how that's going to work out. Jimmy G, he's not good, he's not bad. He's just a serviceable quarterback, leaning more towards the good side, but he's not a good quarterback. But we'll kind of see how that works out. He does have some weapons there. This game is kind of a toss-up. I think both teams are kind of similar teams. Similar quarterbacks, because Jimmy G, he's okay. Russell Wilson stunk last year, but has a good career, so he'll probably be okay this year. I'm thinking that the Denver Broncos will win it, being the better rounded team with the better head coach. So Broncos win 27-24 versus the Raiders. The next game we have coming up at 4:25 on CBS, we have the Philadelphia Eagles playing the New England Patriots. Now, the Eagles are the runner-ups to the Super Bowl, so they are on the journey to try to get back, and this team is loaded on both sides of the ball. On offense, they're probably one of the most skilled teams in the country, so they're definitely going to look good there. When it comes to the Patriots, they are a complete joke. They're not going to be very good this year. They can only hope to be about 500. That's the best that they will be this year. However, Bill Belichick will always have a stout defense, so never overlook that. They're going to try to contain Hurts, see how that works out. Bill O'Brien is back as the offensive coordinator, so the offense won't be a complete train wreck this year, but it all comes down to quarterback play. Mac Brown will not be able to, nor does he have the weapons to be able to go blow for blow with the Eagles. But don't overlook the Patriots defense because they can keep the game close. But like I said, they will not be able to go blow for blow versus Philadelphia. So the Eagles will win 30-20. The next game we have coming up at 4:25 on CBS is the Dolphins at the Las Vegas Chargers. So here we have two quarterbacks who were drafted in the same class in the same round. We have Tua at quarterback for Miami. Will he stay healthy? Will he get his 50th concussion? We don't know. That's the big question is Tua going to get knocked out of every single game that he plays? If he stays in the game, if he doesn't get a concussion, obviously he probably has the best wide receiver core in the country. They are loaded with weapons, Waddle, Hill, so he just basically has to get the ball to them. The Chargers now, they have Justin Herbert. They're bringing in Kellen Moore as the offensive coordinator from the Cowboys. He loves to score. He loves to throw the ball downfield. He has the perfect quarterback. Justin Herbert has a big arm, and he has a massive contract. So he has to earn that contract that he signed this offseason. And the Chargers wide receiver core is one of the better ones in the country as well. So they have the weapons there. I think this game is going to be a shootout. It is going to be a high-scoring game. I'm going to give the edge to the Chargers. Very close. 31-20. I think the Chargers are going to win 31-20 because Justin Herbert has to earn that money that he got this offseason. Next game we have coming up at 4:25 on Fox, we have the LA Rams at the Seattle Seahawks. So the LA Rams completely fell off a cliff last year as the defending champs, and they sold off so many of their players. It's a completely different looking team. Sean McVay has his hands full again this year. Now, Matthew Stafford is back, but almost no one else is. So he'll pretty much be by himself. He'll be a stranger on his own team. The Seahawks, though, very good year last year. Geno Smith was probably the comeback player of the year. He looked really good last year, threw for 4,000 yards. They looked pretty tough. They had a pretty decent defense. So will he be able to replicate the year that he had last year? That's the big question. I think Seattle is going to steamroll the Rams. The Rams are just not good at all. Seattle is a low good team. So they're a very good team. I think they'll probably be like a 11-win team this year. So I think the Seahawks win 31-14 versus the Rams. Next game we have coming up, sworn rivals at 8:20 p.m. on NBC. We have the Dallas Cowboys at the New York Giants. These two teams hate one another, but they always start out the year playing. So the Cowboys have a new offensive coordinator, and that's their head coach, Mike McCarthy. He will now be calling plays. I don't know why, but he made himself the offensive coordinator. So I think they're going to be a little more run-focused and not as focused on throwing the ball down the field, which is probably better for Dak Prescott because he was throwing, seems like, 5 picks every single game last year. So that should take that pressure off of him. However, they are the Cowboys. They will have a ton of pressure on them. Jerry Jones will definitely be putting the pressure on them. Mike McCarthy will have a lot of pressure on him. Dak Prescott will have an immense amount of pressure on him. Is he the guy that can get the Cowboys to the Super Bowl? That's the big question. Now, for the Giants, they are loaded at weapons. They have Daniel Jones at quarterback. They have Saquon Barkley at running back. They have Waller now at tight end. They have good wideouts. Very good team, very good defense. Who's going to win? Even though the Giants have that great defense, Cowboys defense is just as good. I think the Cowboys are going to pull this out. I think the Cowboys will win 30-24. Game could go either way, but I think the Cowboys will be a better version of themselves that they were last year. Next game, the Monday night game at 8:15 Monday night on ESPN and ABC. We have the Buffalo Bills at the New York Jets. So we have the two in-state rivals facing off. What a game this should be. It's obvious why they saved it for the Monday night game. Now, Aaron Rodgers is now the quarterback for the Jets. The Jets are completely retooled on offense. They have a lot of weapons. They are bringing back a great defense from last year. Now, they're not going to hit the ground running. If you remember back at Tom Brady's first year with Tampa Bay, that team was loaded with weapons, but it took them about 5 games till things really started clicking because guys have to learn how to play with new players. So I think that's the way things will probably start out with the Jets. They're not going to hit the ground running. Could they win? Yes. Might it take them some time till they become the best version of themselves? Yes. The Bills, this is a very old team, a experienced team. They've been playing together for a while. So I think Josh Allen on the Bills with his weapons, they're going to pull the game out just because the Jets, who will be far better than last year, haven't worked out all of their kinks yet because they have a lot of new players. So I'm thinking that Josh Allen will carry the Bills to victory in the fourth quarter. Bills will win by 1 touchdown. They win 31-24 versus the Jets. So that's my breakdown of the Week 1 NFL game starting tonight and running through Monday. Hit that like button and subscribe. Thanks.